Yo, Caesar here, and welcome back to season finale of IFSR. I'm sorry, just lost my voice there for a bit. So this is the final race of what has been a really long season for IFSR, and I must say this has been quite an exciting season and quite a successful one at that, considering. Suraj and Rajdeep have taken out time out of their personal time, of course, and managed to make this league a success overall. So, well done to them. And yeah, here we are, final round in Abu Dhabi, and surprisingly, it's heavy rain at the moment, something that you don't see, and we're not used to watching wet race in the Middle East, but here we are under the night sky, under the heavy rains of Abu Dhabi. So we are on board with Arjun, and he is the first one, I believe. He will be the first one to set a lap time. He is on his hot lap at the moment, but it will be difficult. I mean, he has gone purple in sector 2 and sector 1. He is the first one, but it will be a bit challenging for myself to really say what the fast time on these conditions these conditions are, but we should know that in few corners time, as he comes under the beautiful hotel section of Yas Marina, also known as Yas Hotel, just narrowly avoiding the Alfa Romeo. I believe that was Thieves, if I read that correctly. So just 2 more corners to go, taking that beautifully, not going too wide on the exit curves, really kissing the apex on the inside. That's wonderfully done, avoiding the curves on the outside, and he has set a 153.1, so that's the benchmark time that we have with us at the moment. The next driver to cross the line, I think this should be a racing point. I think that's starting his time. Let's be on board with someone who is actually about to finish. So You Can Beat Me or Mala will be starting his hot lap, so he is not on his lap. So Thief's Cal will be ending his lap pretty soon. Let's see what time he does. Pole state has changed, so that's VFix with a 153.106, so not a lot of difference, 500 of a second quicker than Arjun Shah is VFix. You Can Beat Me has set a lap time of 158.1, so the gap is around 5 seconds between P2 and P3. Phantom goes even faster with a 152.4, so lap times are dropping, so maybe we could see the rain is subduing slightly. Doesn't look like that at the moment from the commentator's point of view, but 7/10 is nevertheless quite an impressive time. Anhydrous Acid, who will be bidding farewell to the PlayStation, or should I say console, and he'll be moving on to the PC side of gaming. He goes into P4, 154.2, so 1.1 seconds, not 9/10. 1.1 seconds of Arjun's time is Anhydrous. Let's see who else is on their hot lap. So we'll start with Nishan. He loses his back and took that corner too quickly, as it should have been taken, and yeah, couldn't stop his car on time. It's just a bit of a lag, I believe. So we'll wait and see. Is Arjun on his hot lap once again? He must have fueled his car quite a bit, and he has managed to improve that with a 152.6. So you can see the lap times are dropping. I think Nishan went into P4, so 153.6. So lap times are definitely improving, but it still looks not dry enough to go on to the inters. But there's still over 11 minutes of this qualifying session to go, so we could see lap time fall even further, as Azul is back into the pits. Surprisingly, as he's gone straight into the wall. That's pretty embarrassing to have got that on the stream. You are at your slowest at the entry, and to crash out in the pits is a bit embarrassing. So, I mean, not that I haven't done that. I've done that myself, so I know how it feels. Tofarol, meanwhile, he is on his hot lap, and he will be setting a lap time. He hasn't set a lap time yet. He's down in P14, but of course he is yet to set a lap. So he is he is a pretty good driver, quite consistent. He has been participating in one of the other Indian leagues, and he managed to improve quite well compared to his previous season. So taking that final corner, just missed the apex. They couldn't take it as much as he would have liked, and he goes P7, so 155.1. And considering how his pace is in this game, I think there is a lot of time to be found. Elsewhere on the field, let's have a look. There is, I think that's Arjun again. So he's invalidated his lap, so he won't be improving. Nishan is on his own lap. He goes wide and just kisses the barrier. Luckily for him, there was no damage or loss of front right tire. But will he improve on his lap time? 53.6 to beat, and no, he is definitely slower than what he had said. VFix is, I thought he was taking this final corner, so he is back in the pits. Another Renault is approaching the end of his lap, and this is You Can Beat Me, Malav, and he is going back into the pits, and he's missed the braking point almost into the walls or across it, but manages to brake on time. There is a McLaren coming slowly behind. That could be Suraj. He is, but he has invalidated his lap, so he will be starting his lap all over again. But he is in the pits, so he will be coming out of the pits after a while, and so is Steve, so he will be going in. I guess his fuel light, his fuel light is flashing. So there's a Ferrari somewhere on the track. That should be Shah. Yeah, he is on his hot lap, so for some reason I'm catching all the drivers in through this corner as it moves out of the corner at the right time. Nova West has retired, so he will be starting from the back of the grid and will be looking, or at least trying to do a last to first challenge. So you can see how much he has to fight. I was about to say that sort of seems to be fighting his car a lot through those corners, so maybe the setup is not suiting his driving style at the moment. But you never know, the race could be dry and he could be running a dry setup. So remember, it's not where you qualify. I mean, it is important, of course, but it's more important where you finish at the checkered flag. There is an Alpha Tauri, and yeah, Arjun has invalidated his lap, and I think he will be coming in because he is out of fuel. Nishan is definitely out of fuel. His repair light is flashing on the bottom right, but I don't see any damage on the front wing, so he will be in. So I think everyone should be coming in. Oh, Nishan has lost it on the pit entry, so that's two drivers that I've got, rather three. Two manages to hit on the entry and one almost went past it. So wet conditions, I'm sorry, are really not suiting these drivers. And of course, I mean, Abu Dhabi, you don't associate with weather driving to this track, so not sure how many drivers have actually put in time for practice on this track under wet conditions. Yeah, he is on his hot lap, so Arun is the only one who is on his hot lap. Anyone? No. So we're still on board with Arun. He has set a 154.2, so he's 2 seconds off the pole time. That's definitely not the pace that we are used, or at least the F1 community in India are used to see him to be that far off the pace. But that should improve, hopefully, in these final few corners. Or the other reason might be that he is not too comfortable on the wets, but I'd rather say it's the first reason, and he is into the pits. So we have everyone in the pits. These drivers are on the out lap. BFix just started his hot lap, whereas Arjun is on his no, he's on the inters. So we have someone on the inters, BFix on the inters as well. Let's have a look. So everyone is on the inters who are on their out lap. Drivers on the wet tires are in the pits, and pretty sure they will be coming out with inters as well. So VFX looks like the driver who will be setting his lap time first on these tire conditions. So still on board with him. He is getting some tow, if not a lot, but some tow from the Alpha Tauri of Arjun in the front. But Arjun smartly moves out of the way but he isn't slowing down as much as probably Bfix would have liked, but he's out of the way anyway. So going purple in the second sector. I just forgot to see how much up he was. I did see he is up, but I think that's at 2 seconds. I could be wrong, but we could very well see the time fall into the 151s, maybe into the high 150s. You never know. You can see how much he has to fight his car through these corners, and I mean, driving under wet conditions is challenging as it is, and the final sector in Abu Dhabi is really harsh on your car if you're not careful. As Sid Venkatesh, of all the people, has gone purple on the track, but VFix could very well beat him. He is 150.5. Sid Venkatesh, I apologize, he is 148.9, so I was expecting 150s. He's done a 148.9, so eat your words. So Sid Venkatesh, I was saying, I mean, personally, I'm used to seeing him somewhere in the midfield of the order, so seeing him as high as P2 or P1 as he was a few seconds back, that was quite a pleasant surprise. But it's still a racing point, 1-2. So as long as they can manage to keep hold of that would be great for them. But Phantom, who is taking the final corner, where could he be? He could be on pole, and he is with 3.5 tenths almost, with a 148.6. So it's a ding-dong battle between Phantom and VFix throughout this season. By the way, points table, if we speak of points table, VFix has already seen the title. He sits comfortably in P1 with 460 points, and P2 is Phantom, the current provisional pole sitter, with 272. So almost 200 points gap between these two, but Phantom did miss out, I believe, a couple of races, and a few results that didn't go his way. So, but nevertheless, he is on the provisional pole. Let's see if there's anyone else. Shah, I was about to come on board, so he goes P4. There is a racing point coming up behind. That could be said, and he's into the pits. There is a Merc. Could that be Phantom? No, that's not Phantom. Acid is about to finish his lap, and he goes P3 with a 150.1. So that's 1.5 seconds of the pole time. You can see how much the track has dried out. So could we see drivers going into the pits? There are few drivers, not a couple, but few drivers in the pits. Maybe we could see them switch on to the soft compound tires and just annihilate all these times. As Bosnia is in the chat. Hello Bosnia, how are you? Hope you're well, and hope you're sweating well enough for this track, for the race in a couple of days. So coming back to the race, there is an Alfa Romeo. That is Rishabh, someone who we haven't been on board at all in this session. He goes into P9, improves up position, and Arjun goes on pole with a 148.4. So a lot of position changes we are seeing at the moment, but I think with the gap, or with the time, I'm sorry, that's remaining in the session, I think that should be it for these drivers who have just set their lap times. There's a Renault coming up really fast of Nishan, so you can see he's trying to just sneak his way past the commentator. Is he? I mean, he is on screen now, so yeah, just trying to get back to the pits, but I don't think there's enough time at all, so it's impossible, even if he cuts all the corners, to improve any further. VFX is coming out on the mediums. There is no point, there is no time remaining. Sid Venkatesh, where is he? There is no time again. Sort of like there is no time. Suraj, he is cutting, so maybe Suraj can. Oh, there is a Merc, I think that's Phantom, who has gone into the escape route. He has just reset himself onto the track, so that was quite embarrassing. No idea how he lost his car, but Azun looks difficult, but Suraj can definitely make it to the checkered flag, and I think he's the only one who can actually set in a lap. There is a Renault, yeah, but Nishan is on the inter, so that could be his in lap, and I think Suraj will make it. Yeah, there is more than enough time. But as for Azun, it could be touch and go. It's really difficult, but Suraj will definitely be able to start his lap, and we could see Suraj put that papaya car on pole. So we'll stay on board with him. Let's stay actually on board with him. Let's see how he takes this corner. So approaching turn 1, braking really hard, but allowing that car to flow through turn 1 to get the maximum exit speed, staying close to the curve on the left and to the right. They absolutely flat out with these corners. Slightly to the left and braking really hard at after the 100. He goes purple, so this is a quick lap, 5.3 seconds quicker than his personal best. So he is on course for a provisional pole, not provisional but actual pole, but he has to nail this lap and hope that he doesn't invalidate that. So Nishan Indira now moves away safely. He is coming across with slow moving Williams, but he is out of his way safely. Again braking hard at 100-meter board. You don't want to miss that apex, which he overshot just slightly, but not too much to worry about. DR is wide open, so he has all the assistance. Look at how much dry the track is. So staying close to the left and now opening up the track to the right, using as much curve as possible on the entries. 13.7 seconds, so this is definitely pole. He needs to be careful not to invalidate the lap time, missing the apex on the entry. But the time difference that he has over everyone else, I think this should be an easy pole, managing to stay nice and clean on the fast right-handers, kissing the apex on the left, going wide on the curves, again getting back and going wide on the exit. So this is a beautiful lap. They're going really well on the final sector, cutting that curve too much, and that is lap invalidation. Look at the final time that he has. 35.4, so that would have been pole by 13 seconds, and on the penultimate lap has Suraj just messed that up. How heartbreaking that would be. From P13 he would have been on pole position on the final race at Abu Dhabi. He must be gutted under that helmet. All he needed to do was just stay off, not push too hard. He had 13 seconds at one end, and I'm sure he could see himself on his screen the difference in the delta that he had at the end of that second sector. But he is down in P13, and that's where he will start. So unfortunate, but I think he has only himself to blame. So unlucky for some, maybe it could be lucky for him as well. So there you have it. Arjun Arujha taking the pole in the final race of the season, with Phantom and VFix closely behind. Nishan rounding off the second row with Acid in his final race in this league on the console is P5. Sid Venkatesh in a pretty impressive P6. Shah in P7. You can beat between P8. Thieves in P9. So that's quite good to see. Rishabh, both Alfa Romeos in the fifth row of the grid in P10. Tof Arun in P11, so that's unexpected from him. Saurabh Naik in P12. Suraj, who could have had pole in P13. Nova West, I can't play that clip, in P14. Azun in P15. So 15 drivers. Ashwin was trying to join, but there is some error with his connection, and honestly, I can't believe this. He cannot join. That's what he said. Unfortunate that he couldn't join. We would have had quite an interesting battle in the front if he was here, but it is what it is. We have 15 drivers on the grid as we wait for these drivers to ready up, load their setups, build up their strategies as they like, and we'll wait for them to start their formation lap. The cloud looks cloudy as much as I can see on the top left, so rain possibly at the later stage. It's Abu Dhabi. We usually don't have rain here, but going by how the qualifying session was, we could see some rain as well. That should be interesting. A lot of strategies should come into play if it's a wet race. I'm back, and yeah, I just went for a drink. Right, so while we wait for these drivers to get on with their formation laps, let me just predict. I mean, I always do this when I'm in the comm box. So let's just get these information tabs active first of all. And yeah, so I was saying, so one thing that I always do when I'm in the comm box is predict the top 3 in no particular order, but the podium finishes of the race. So I'm sorry. So interesting choice of tires for the top 5 drivers: 2 on the softs and 3 on the mediums. So that is interesting. But again, it's where you take the checkered flag. So top 3 for me, one of them has to be VFX, of course. Yeah, looking at that list and that qualifying, I mean, if things go smoothly, I think the top 3 on the grid at present are the ones who will be on the podium. That's my prediction. I mean, these 3 are quick driver, and not saying others aren't, but with the grid positions that they have, I think it should be a good smooth run and hopefully a clean one for the first lap or the first few corners. And I think once that's out of the way, I think these 3 could easily pull away a gap. But the important thing for Phantom in the mug is he is the only soft runner in the top 3. So what he will be looking for is the rain. Oh, there is a rain. Here you can see on the chassis. I think this will be much more clearer. So there is rain coming. So has have the driver who was starting on the mediums didn't take that into consideration, that there will be a rain. I'm sure they could have seen that. They must have seen that on their screen. So at present it is advantage Phantom. But let's just leave that for later. Let's just wait for these drivers to ready up, for the lights to go out. If I can see them. Or I can hear them. 5 lights. And away we go. Looks like a really good start for Phantom, as he would have hoped on the soft tires. So he takes the early lead going into turn 1 further back. Nishan is up into P3, Acid in P4. Vivix has dropped down a lot of positions, couple of them to be precise. He goes really wide. He'll be losing even more positions. So not the best of starts from Vivix. He has lost tons of time, and now he is at the back of the grid. Meanwhile, Phantom from P2, he's up into P1, and he will be looking to pull up a gap from Arjun, who is on the mediums, who could be coming under attack from Nishan, who is on the soft compound tire himself. And Nishan, I'm pretty sure he can see the rain on his screen. He will be looking to make as much positions as possible at the start from Arjun, and especially the ones who are on the medium. So he has improved 1 positions from the start, and he will be looking to improve 1 more before the pit stop phase. And it hasn't been the best of start for the for the Racing Point. VFX, who started in P3, is down in P14. So he has gained 1 position. But he was down at the last. Further back, Sid Venkatesh getting really aggressive, cut a lot of curb on the entry, and smartly so backing out of that and allowing the Mercedes and Acid to take that position back. Further back, you can beat me, Tof, Arun, Suraj B. Everyone has got off the racing line cleanly. VFX, who fell down the order, he's slowly but gradually making his way up. But you can see, as Phantom expected, and as he would have hoped, he has put up a gap of over a second, taking full advantage of his soft compound tires over the AlphaTauri's medium. And Nishan is dropping off, so this is a good news for Arjun, who is in P2. He will be looking to pull up as much of a gap as possible from the drivers behind him. He wouldn't want, of course, anyone to overtake him on the track, especially the softer tires. The longer he can keep those guys behind him, the better it will be for him, as the grid is glitched, but it will be back once Rishabh crosses the finish line, or it will be already in a minute. So Phantom leading the race from Arjun, from Nishan. Let's have a look how many positions these guys have gained or lost. So yeah, so Arjun and Phantom have gained and lost a position each. Everyone has gained a position except Vifix, the biggest loser out of all of them, and so have the Alfa Romeos of Thieves and Rishabh, who form the back of this line. So both Alfa Romeos, look at them, how far back they are on the minimap. So they have lost plenty of time. I hope there's no damage for them, but Acid is coming attack from Sid, who has made it look rather easy without even DRS assistance. Sid makes his way up into P4. So is there some damage? You can see the Mercedes sliding all over. So medium tires, possibly they are not suiting well for these drivers on this track. But Arjun, speaking of the medium runners, Arjun has made his way back up into the clutches of Phantom. I believe DRS is still active, so the next lap DRS will be active and we could see. But you can even closer, but no, we went on board and look, he has lost the back end on the curb and he has lost the front wing, so he will have to pit. And all he needed to do was just be patient and just take that final corner. That corner could be tricky because that is a fast right-hander. You need to attack the curb as much as possible to gain maximum amount of time, and that is where drivers lose their time. But look at the gap Phantom has built over Nishan, over 3.5 seconds. That time could possibly improve and go up to over 4 seconds, but it's a battle for P3. Acid right on Sid Venkatesh's tail. DRS member is active on this lap, and could we possibly see Acid make a move going into the first braking zone of the back straight. So DRS is very much active, but I don't think he's close enough. The ERS situation is exactly double of what the Racing Point in front of him has. Look at the braking, the gap he closes down under the braking, and Sid Venkatesh broke a bit late than he would have liked. And could we see a switch of positions on this straight? Yes, it is very much possible. He's using his overtake, he's using his DRS. Sid Venkatesh going defensive, but I don't think he could do much about it because Mercedes has reclaimed that position from the Racing Point even before the braking zone started. So this is a very good battle for the final podium position for P3. The front two runners have literally just gone or zoomed out into the distance. Arjun Shah, he's on the inter, so he has taken a big risk. Will Phantom come into the pits? Let's stay on board and see. He is staying out, so it is not inters conditions, as Arjun is the only driver to be on that compound. But there is a battle in the midfield, battle for P8. You Can Beat Me has a long trade behind, forming up behind him. There is Suraj, followed up by Vfix and Azun and Saurabh. So how many cars are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 car train, all battling for P8. Nova West has made his way up from P15 up to P7, so 8 positions gained from the start in 4 laps. So keeping his nose clean at the start and believing in his pace that he can actually do a last first challenge. There is yellows, McLaren. Is that Suraj? No, that's Azul losing his car. Oh, Sid Venkatesh disconnected. He is disconnected from the session. What a terrible circumstances to go out. He was showing so much pace tonight, and his car will be extremely slow going into all the corners. So hopefully he can join back in as quickly as possible. But while he doesn't, you will see the Pink Panther fall down the order. You can see he has been overtaken by 2 cars already. So there is yellows in sector 2. That's Rishabh, I believe, who's lost at the exit of the hairpin in sector 2. So not the best of the races for the Alfa Romeos tonight. Any other battle going on? Yeah, there is a battle between VFX and You Can Beat Me. I really don't think Malav or You Can Beat Me fought that too hard. Just made that too easy for VFX. VFX started on P3, remember, just lost his way after the turn 1? Yeah, exactly. At the start, at turn 1, he lost his way, went wide, and just couldn't join back on the track safely enough to limit his damage. I'm sorry, what am I saying? So is it wet condition? Yeah, I think Phantom is in the pits. It is a wet conditions. Will Nishan follow? He is going back into the pits. Will medium runner Acid? Yes, he is. So everyone will be in the pits. So this is good news for all these drivers who are in the front of their teammates. So VFX will be in. Sid Venkatesh is not in the game, but his course will follow his teammate behind. You Can Beat Me. He will be hoping that the Renault. Oh, there's a 5-second penalty for VFX. So he will be serving that if he makes it on the pit stop or at the end of the race. So he will be hoping for Renault to serve Nishan quickly and not holding up too much, but he has been held up, but I think he will lose a couple of seconds. Nova is on the wets. Interesting. Everyone is on the inters. Nova is the only one on the wet compound tires. So is that confidence that the weather will deteriorate as the race goes on, or it's that overconfidence on his abilities? Only time will tell. Maybe in a couple of laps we should know. But he has VFX right on his tail, who is no slouch, and if Nova can manage to keep VFX behind him on those wet tires, I think that would be pretty impressive, at least at this stage of this race. But you can see how heavy the rain is falling. Look at the splash coming out from Nova's car, and even from Nova's car you can see that there is so much rain on the track. So maybe Nova, oh, there's the Mercedes facing the wrong. Oh, is that Acid on the final race? Oh, why is he on the mediums? Did Mercedes make a mess of it? Why is Acid's Merc on the mediums? We'll probably know that after the race, but at the moment, there's a battle for P4. VFX on the inside, trying to go for the move. He's trying to use as much as he as possible, but braking really late, keeping his car on the inside. Nova slotting right up behind him. Maybe the rain will get heavy as the race progresses, but with VFX in the front, we'll keep an eye out on the delta here, which is increasing. So maybe it's not the time to be on the wets, but let's just wait for a couple of laps and we could see if that was a genius stroke or something for everyone to make a meme out of. As Acid gets a 3-second time penalty. Further up the field, Phantom is in a world of his own. How far ahead is he? He's too far ahead. I can't see the delta for some reason. Nishan is in P2, so he is on his own as well. Toph Arun will be coming under attack from VFX. Just a second behind is the pink Mercedes of VFX. Nova is losing time hand over fist, and You Can Beat Me has caught up to Nova. So at the next backstep, or even before that, look at how slow Nova is going. The Renault will overtake Nova pretty soon, as his yellows in sector 3. That's Steve Cal, I believe, who's lost the back end. So Alfa Romeo's race is going for back towards as You Can Beat Me, trying to overtake him on the outside, goes a bit wide, earns himself a 3-second time penalty. So yeah, but the better traction of the Inters making it rather easy for him. And Suraj at the back, who could have had pole here in qualifying, he is in P7, so he has gained a lot of position. Look at the braking distance, or the gap that he closes down under braking. Nova is just a sitting duck tonight, and he will be pretty quickly overtaken by Shah and Saurabh. Speaking of Shah and Saurabh is right on Shah's tail. It's a battle for P8, but at the moment Saurabh is the one with the penalties, and yeah, Shah definitely has the upper hand. The driver in front is on the wrong tires at the moment. Shouldn't take much of a time to put that Haas in his rearview mirrors, or side mirror, let's say. These cars don't have rearview mirrors, so yeah, in his mirrors, that's the word. So the faster the Ferrari can overtake Nova, I think the better it will be for his battle for Saurabh, because he would hope that Haas is able to hold Saurabh for him a little while longer. For the back, Azun is closing down the gap. So I believe Azun lost out at the start of the race, and he's done well to climb his way back up to the grid. And you can see there side by side is the Ferrari and the Haas of Nova and Shah, but it should be, will he fight it? No, Nova's actually not fighting any of these battles. He's just making it easy for the drivers to overtake. But this is what I was talking about. Shah will be hoping, and Saurabh will be praying, which has been answered immediately as I said it, that he overtakes the Haas, which he has, and he will be back on Shah's tail pretty soon. And Azun took advantage of that with the Haas going wide and says, yeah, I'll just slot in right behind you. Arjun Arun Shah, who started P2, I believe it was. Did he start P2? I think he started P2. who fell down the order. He is making his way up the field and he's up into P10. Further up, VFX has caught up to Tawaf Arun, but without a DRS assistance, he will find this a bit more challenging to overtake, because you need to manage your traction under these conditions, and with no DRS to help you on the long straights, it's all about how close you can get at the exit of the corners, or exit of this or the straights that follow all these exits. So should be interesting. VFX will want to not hit Tawaf Arun at the back to make his move. Tawaf Arun would like to keep behind him as much as possible. Both these drivers have penalties, 3 and 5 seconds each. So yeah, VFX has the penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So if the race dries out, which I think it could or will, VFX will be serving. When he goes into service car, he will be stopped for 5 additional seconds. So yeah, he's not in net P4 then, as things stand. Or if even if the rain doesn't come, he is not in net P4, let's just say that. Further back, there is a long train forming behind Shah. So it's a battle for P7 between Shah, Saurabh, Azun and Arjun. Arjun, who looks to be the quickest of this lot, at least at this stage of the race. He has 3 cars to overtake, and after that he has a massive time gap to the leaders. You can see Phantom is 10.5 seconds in the front of Nishad in P2, who is himself 7.5 seconds in front of Tawaf Arun in P3. So it's a mountain climb for Arjun from here, unless a safety car comes in and by some luck he jumps all these positions under the safety car conditions. I think podium looks a long way ahead. Speaking of podium, my 3 contenders were Phantom, Arun and Arjun. I seem to have cursed 2 of them, as 2 of them lost long positions at the start. Phantom staying on, holding on to his lead from the start of the race, courtesy his much superior launch from the line. So he'll be heaving a sigh of relief for that start that he got. Someone seen in the chat, Tarantel chat says hi, so hi to you as well. So Shah, yeah, coming back to the battle for P7, Shah is the only one in this battle who is without a penalty. As you can see, Suraj on the exit of that turn, losing the back end slightly. He is 1.5 seconds in front of Ferrari, but not close enough for Shah to do anything about it. But at the moment, he is not looking in the front. He is looking in his mirrors for the White Williams Racing of Saurabh Nayak. As Arjun has made his move on Azul, so that move must have been made in the penultimate or the final corner. So we could see Arjun now making his way past. He was P10, he is P9, could be P8 by the end of next lap, hopefully for him. As Shah is right on Suraj. So Suraj is not having the best of the sectors at the moment. Does he have any damage? Doesn't look like from this angle. I'm sorry. My throat seems to be hurting tonight for some reason. So Suraj has lost a lot of time. He was 1.5 seconds in front of the Ferrari, but he's now under a second. But then again, without a DRS, there's nothing the drivers behind can do. Arjun, who's 3/10 behind Saurabh, breaks really late on Saurabh. Could this be a move on the outside? Yes, that is a move stick, but Saurabh will go for the switchback. What a beautiful battle this has been from both of these drivers. So both drivers trying the switchback. Arjun going on the outside, but Saurabh smartly going for the switchback line and retake that P8 away from him. But could we see another move on the outside from Arjun? I think this time he makes it stick, and Saurabh had to go. I think there was a bit of a contact between these drivers. Saurabh had to go onto the grass to avoid any more collisions, and that has allowed him to lose so much time and positions. Azun has taken full advantage of that, and he is down into P10. So he lost a couple of positions, courtesy that move for P8. So now Arjun has just one driver in front of him to take that P7 away. He was 2 cars further back a couple of laps ago, so Really aggressive intent shown here as Shah misses that final apex by a mile, and that will allow Arjun to come right back at him. So the strategy has opened up. It says that it's full wet conditions. What will ties these drivers around? Noah is back in the pits, and he has come out on the inters, surprisingly, as the game suggests that it's wet conditions. So maybe we could see all these drivers come into the pits. We should know in a couple of laps, but this has gone from a battle of 5 cars to a battle of how many? Let's see. It's a battle of P6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 cars not too far behind. So yeah, these cars are too close. So anyone can take P6 all the way down to Sid Venkatesh in P11. So Suraj is leading the straight. Arjun, you could see at the background, trying to go for that move. He is getting restless. I can feel that. And yeah, you can see he just taps the Ferrari at the back. So he was trying that switchback line, but the Ferrari parked. It's beautiful in the corners, but this should be an easy move for the Alpha Tauri. And he's been getting sandwiched from all these drivers behind, so he had to look both sides of his mirrors, the Ferrari. And Arjun doing really well here. Yeah, he did lose a position to Arjun, but he has been fortunate, or he's been smart enough to take advantage of any stray drivers that are in front of him, and we have seen him at least a couple of times take the positions away from the mistakes of others. So being at the right positions, or at the right place at the right time, is what's helping him stay in the points tonight. Meanwhile, Suraj is under a lot of pressure from... Let's stay on board with Suraj. Where is Suraj? Why am I seeing the back of Ferrari for some reason? But let's stay on board. God, what's the control? Something's happening, but Arjun Shah trying to go on the inside of turn 1, goes side by side, bumps him a bit, but I think that's move. Yeah, that's move done, and that's it. So Arjun has moved up into P6. He's almost 6 seconds behind P5 of Malav Shah, or You Can Beat Me. So let's keep an eye out on that gap. 5.9 seconds is the delta that could possibly come down as the race progresses. Suraj, meanwhile, now again has to defend from the drivers, or the long train that's forming up behind him of Shah and Azun. So we'll keep an eye out on Azun. He is looking quite feisty all of a sudden, and looks a bit quicker than the other McLaren, to be honest, or by the looks of it. I mean, Shah is doing a brilliant job of defending his position from these drivers, but how much will Azun attack him, and how much can he defend will Shah from him? We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, we can see he's going for the move. He'll at least try for it on the inside, so he could brake late if he wants to, but Suraj goes really deep into the corner. He has missed a braking point. He will have to cut that corner entirely, and Suraj gets 3 seconds time penalty for really cutting that corner. I couldn't see. I'm pretty sure at this stream you can just replay and see what happened to Suraj, but yeah, during the live, of course, I couldn't see what happened to him, but he must have missed his braking point, and yeah, gets himself a 3 second time penalty for his lapse in concentration. Further back, Noah is in P12, 12. Acid, he is in the unlucky 13, not the race he would have hoped for, being his final race in this league. Rishabh is down in P14, and Thieves in P15, so not the best of the race for the Alfa Romeos. Drivers are in the pits is Arjun Shah, You Can Beat Me, and Suraj. So drivers are going for the wet compound tires, so maybe this is time for wet, and you can see how much wet or how heavy the rain is falling now. So this is definitely the time for wet compound tires. So could we see Arjun? I believe Arjun was P6 when he made his pit stop. So it should be interesting to see where Arjun will come out, or where will he be once everyone else in front have made their pit stop. So if there's a massive drop in the time between these two compounds, I think he could close down the gap. I don't think he will jump. Whereas, oh no, exactly, he's closed down the gap. He was around 5.9 seconds behind You Can Beat Me a lap and a half ago, and look at him how close he is now, 1.2 seconds. So he must have closed down the gap on his in lap in the previous one, and we could see him make that move pretty quickly. So who was P4? If I remember correctly, it was Arun, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, Phantom is in the pits. He will be going on for the set of wet compound. So the rain is getting heavier. Nishan, will he make his way into the pits for a set of wets? Yeah, he is in the pits. Just hoping he takes it cleanly. He does, and so does VFX comes back. So VFX has done quite a commendable job. Someone has stayed out. Arun has stayed out. No, who has stayed out? Yeah, it is Arun. So Arun has decided to take the bullet and just risk this out. This could only suggest that the weather is going to dry out, but how much time is that going to take? I mean, even if you try to extend your interstate, you will struggle quite a lot as compared to wet. The wet compound runners will catch you hand over fist. So keep an eye out. 15.8 seconds. The gap between Nishan and Arun, who's on the inters. That gap will drop down massively. Just in at the exit of hairpin, it's 16. Is Nishan not in this session? I think I saw him leave the session. So what's happening with the connection of all these drivers? VFX is 6.3, 6.1. So that gap is coming down between him and Nishan. So I think it's Nishan right now, and I think it was Sid Venkatesh earlier. I think Sid has joined back. He is in control. Yeah, he is. So that's good to see. But yeah, Nishan will be looking to join back as soon as possible. Going on board with Arun Shah. He is right on You Can Beat Me Stale. And he's up into P6. So this is technically net P6, and he is fighting for P5 on the track at the moment. And look at how late he breaks, almost goes into the back of him. He needs to get a good launch out of this corner, but I think Renault gets an equally good launch. And don't think he is close enough unless he really lunges into the next braking zone. I think he will be sitting in P6 for one more lap, and just taps him ever so slightly at the back. So Arjun needs to just calm down a bit. I mean, it's clear to see that he has more pace over the Renault driver in front, but he needs to be patient. He doesn't want to damage his wing just in his attempt to make the pass as aggressive as possible. You can see, yeah, the opportunity presented itself as drivers behind him are going all over the place. Who's that in the front? I think that was Steve's in the Renault. Sorry, in Alfa Romeo. Yeah, I think that's Steve's. So, and Nova, who was on wets when it was inters, is now on inters when it's supposed to be on the wets. So will he make it easy for these two drivers? He is holding them up, and yeah, he's in the pits. He's missed the pit entry. Meme moment right there from Nova. I'm sure he'll say that he meant to cut that corner, but I'm pretty sure he messed up that pit entry massively. It's so good to see him struggle. But it's all good fun. So Suraj is right on Nova's tail, and yeah, he'll be looking forward to put that hatch behind him as soon as possible. Maybe under this braking zone. Yeah, Nova doesn't make that too difficult. Let's Sid Venkatesh at the back. Thought of taking the opportunity of that little window of opportunity, but the door shut on him quickly than he would have anticipated, and he is still behind Nova, but I think at the next braking zone he should be. Yeah, Nova has kindly moved off the racing line and allowed him to pass. Elsewhere, there's no real battle going on. Saurabh Naik is in P12, almost hits Nova from behind. Nova has to brake really early compared to these wet runners because his tires are not up to the temperature. It will burn out. Tofarun, who stayed out for one extra lap, he is in P4 but in a comfortable position, not too far off from Nishan. Nishan, who was in P2, unfortunately got disconnected. He is back in control of his car, but he's lost a lot of time to... Oh, there's a Mercedes facing the wrong way. I think that's Acid once again, losing his car at the exit of turn 1. And yeah, he doesn't have the end plates on either side of his front wing, so not the best of the farewell race for him. in this league. And VFix, he's managed to make his way back up into P2. He was dead last at the start of this race, starting the race from P3. But yeah, consistent pace showing lap after lap, and yeah, just proving again why he's the champion in IFSR. So but can he close on the gap in 13 laps or 13 and a half laps to go? He is, I can't see the delta, but I think that's around 10 seconds if I'm not wrong. The gap is 10 seconds between him and Phantom, so he could, but Phantom, of course, again, he's no slouch. Arun is trying to hunt Nishan to get that final step on the podium away from him and place himself. You can see how drastically the weather has changed. It's storming down at Yas Marina, a site that we don't usually see in or associate with Abu Dhabi or Bahrain for that matter. But tonight is a different night, a wet quali with a wet race. Started dry, but the rain has gotten heavier and heavier. Arjun, meanwhile, he's 5.5 seconds behind P4. He is closing down the gap and increasing the gap between him and Malav, who is in P6. Azul, meanwhile, has managed to find his way past Shah's Ferrari, and he's 2.5, almost 3 seconds in front, or over 3 seconds now, of Shah. So is any battle? Look at Sid. What a move was that? On the outside, on the braking. So this was the move for P9. So just got that at the last moment. So that was quite an interesting move. Don't know what was going on in Sid's mind to go for that move, but fair play to him and Suraj to not crash into each other, and that was a wonderful move from Suraj. Quite impressive. Further back, Suraj has any damage, nothing that I can see of. He is under attack from sort of Nayak, and yeah, he would want to keep hold of that final points paying position as Acid has come out of the pits right now, and you can see Saurabh is trying to gain that position, gets a better launch off turn 1, and yeah, that's move done and dusted. So Suraj is dropping his positions like 9 pins. That's what it's called, right? So he was in P6. He was defending P6 from Arjun a few laps ago, and now he's out of the points, unfortunately. So still a long race to go. There are 12 and a bit laps remaining. Anything can happen, and we could see him claw his way back rather quickly. But something that we've totally missed, VFix is more than a pit stop behind Phantom. So VFix must have lost his car somewhere. I just noticed that in the map the gap had increased so much that I had to have a look at the delta, and yeah, VFix must have had some spin at some corner. But it is what it is. We'll check that out after a bit. Battle for P3 is still continuing between Toph, Arun and Nishan. Nishan doing extremely well to hold on to that final podium positions, and Toph, Arun, even he makes an overtake on Nishan, he won't be net P3. He is serving his penalty, which is 3 seconds at the moment. Nishan having none of those, so even if Nishan will try to keep him behind for as long as possible, but if he manages to overtake him, I think Nishan will try to just stay right on his tail, or at least keep a buffer of 3 seconds. And I think that, judging by the pace Nishan has, I think that shouldn't be too much of a challenge to keep up. As AS says that we need a safety car, and I think at this moment, to spice things up, I think we can use a safety car, to be honest, and I agree with you. The field is spread out quite open, quite wide. You can beat me is under attack from Azul, so it's either you can beat me who's struggling, or Azul has found tons of pace all of a sudden in wet weathers. It could be either of the two, but whatever it is, Azul is right on Malav's gearbox and could be looking to make a move going the exit of this hairpin and possibly going into the hard braking zone of the first chicane at the back straight. So where is Azun not close enough? Is Azun Shah meanwhile Oh, so battle between Sid and Saurabh is still very much on. Suraj has lost time and he's now over a second behind Saurabh. But will Saurabh try to hold it on the outside of the braking zone? Sid could defend that hard, but no. One more. Was that a Mercy? Was that Acid? Oh, that's Acid who has lost his car. So not the best of the race, but what a move from Saurabh. Braking really late and going for the move on the outside, which turned into inside. And he says, thank you very much. I'll have that P9 and 9.5 seconds with 10 laps to go. The pace that he is showing at the moment, we could see him. Oh, what's going on? He's gone wide. Alright, now he's under attack, back under attack from the Pink Panther. He will go wide again. Cannot go on the throttle as early as he would have liked on the curves. But he will be on the inside of this fast right hander. Let's hope no one crashes out. And yeah, he smartly backs out of it. So I think the laps are running out for Saurabh's sake. He would have been targeting P8 or maybe P7 or even P6 because there's a battle for P6 going on at the moment. There's yellows in sector 2 and 3. 3 I know that's Acid, and 2 could be Thieves or Bishop, unfortunately. So yeah, Alfa Romeos and one particular Mercedes are struggling quite a bit tonight. So wet weather not suiting them, or they're not comfortable under these conditions. Battle for P9 continues. As of now, 10 laps to go in this race. So we've seen a lot of rain tonight. Even in quali, it was, I think, out of the 18 minutes, 15, 16 minutes were in raining conditions. And so is the race. It started to drizzle during the formation lap, and it has been wet since. Let's just hope. I mean, we can only hope that the race dries out towards the end and possibly see these drivers have a go at this track and really show their pace in this final race of the season. Fastest lap belongs to Phantom with a 139.7 courtesy his soft compound tires at the start of this race. So he will be taking that additional 1 point away along with his victory. Acid is doing donuts here. He has had enough of let's hope he doesn't cause any damage. He is, I mean, in all fairness, this is a favorable race for him, but he's quite dangerous at the moment on the track. I mean, there is off track, not too far away from him. He can go there and do these donuts, but I think for the race's sake, let's not celebrate too early. Acid. Oh, so VFX is in the pits. He is the first one out of the front runners to take the bullet and go for the inters. This is virtual safety car. Acid has retired. He crashed in the final corner. Virtual safety car. So this has worked, I think, rather well for VFX. The drivers elsewhere on the track will be slowing down. He was in the pits, so he doesn't need to. And yeah, he must have gained some time over Phantom, but the gap from him to Phantom was too large. Just to put in perspective, and since Phantom is the only Mercedes, you can see Phantom is in sector 3 approaching that fast right-hander. VFX is in sector 2 at the start of sector 2, so that's how big the gap is. Rishabh gets a drive through for speeding under virtual safety car. The race going from bad to worse for the Alfa Romeos. Meanwhile, up in the front, the battle for P3 has now switched positions. So it was between Nishan and Arun, but Arjun has managed to claw his way back, and now he is amongst this fight. So this is a battle for P2 now, all of a sudden, from battle for P3, courtesy VFX's courageous pit stop, should I say. Anyone else on the inters? Oh yeah, here, wrong window. Phantom is in the pits. He is too far ahead, so he will be in the pits and he will come out safely into P1. So a lot of drivers are switching their compounds, so maybe it's time for inter conditions, and I think Nishan, Arun and Arjun will be pitting, and you can see the gap that VFX is closing down, so definitely it is time for inters. Will Nishan come in? Yeah, he has gone to the right, and so Arun has had to stay out for one extra lap once again. And I think he will be undercutted. I really don't see Arun holding on to his P3 or P4 once he makes his pit stop. Unless, of course, there's a safety car or virtual safety car in the meanwhile, in the next few seconds. But VFix is back into P3, but I must say this is net P2 at the moment. Look at the gap that's closing down. It's 4.3 at the moment. It's 4.2. It will be 4.1. Yeah, I think it should be under 4 seconds by the exit of this hairpin. Yeah, it is under 3.9 seconds. So you can see, as expected, the time is falling down. And Arun, I think, yeah, he did a mistake by staying out for one extra lap. So Arjun here we see is in net P4 with Nishan in net P3. T-Scal, another Alfa Romeo, getting 3-second time penalty for his track extension efforts. For the semi-battle, Nova is on Suraj's tail, so this is the closest battle that we have on the field between Suraj and Nova. So Nova has been pretty generous in giving a position, but he's trying to go on the outside, but shuts the door. There's Suraj on Nova, and unfortunately Nova didn't crash out of all of that. Shame. But Nova can go for the move at the braking point of the next chicane. That will be at the end of this really long straight. Nova is deploying all of his ERS to attack Suraj, but Suraj is doing the same, and possibly Suraj, but no, look at the gap that he has closed down, and I think this should be an easy move unless Suraj decides to fight it, which he is. Leaves him just enough room on the inside, and yeah, Nova has taken P10 away from Suraj, and who will be the attack from Sid Venkatesh pretty soon. Tofarun, will he make a pit stop? He has decided to stay out, so I think he is waiting for dry weather. The speed at which the weather has dropped over the last... Oh, what a move from the outside! Oh, there's a tap, and Arun is into the barriers. VFX going for an ambitious move on the outside, which was brave from him. And yeah, Arun is having no more of it, and he has left the session, unfortunately. To be fair, Arun was coming under attack quite rapidly from VFX, but I mean, to be fair on him, was that a place to overtake? I mean, yes, but there was huge amount of risk because Arun was on the old wet tires as Arjun casually passes Nishan without me noticing up into P4, which will be P3 in the moment's time, as both of these cars overtake Arun, so P3 and P4 comfortably for both of them. So yeah, but Arun was on wet compound, on worn compound tires, worn out wet compound tires, I can't speak. So he would have understeered naturally, but the worst that had to happen happened with Arun coming out the worst out of those two. So unlucky, he was showing he was taking risk. Maybe the weather could dry out. You can see there's not as much standing water as there was a couple of laps back. So the track is drying out. The gap is 33.5 seconds between our leaders. So Phantom comfortably a pit stop ahead of all of these drivers. I'm sorry I can't speak tonight for some reason. Azul, meanwhile, he's right on Marlo's tail. So Marlo is oh, there's yellows. Oh, that's Alfa Romeo. So no surprises. The penalties and the yellow flags that Alfa Romeos have caused tonight is unfortunate for themselves. So Marlon has lost a lot of pace since coming onto the wet compound tires. He was showing promising pace on dry compounds. Hasn't been the same on wet compounds. Arun is... Oh, that's his ghost, I'm sorry. So that's the ghosted car of Arun finally into the pits. Don't think the real life Arun would have pitted anyway before the track had dried off. So unfortunate end for him there. Arjun meanwhile has managed to overtake Nishan. I think we caught that, yeah. He overtook him in the last lap of this straight. So he will be pulling up the gap, 13.8 seconds. Can he close down the gap? Phantom is pulling up the gap to VFX over a second now from last lap at this exact same point. Arjun 30.5, 38, 37. So we'll keep an eye out for that after one lap. Meanwhile, the battle for P5, which is the closest battle besides the battle for P8 between Noah and Saurabh. Stay on board with all this and stay on board with you can beat me. Let's stay on. Why can't I have this back view from Nishan? But let's just forget that for a moment and stay on board with poking his nose on the outside is Azun, but I don't think he's close enough to really make any move over Malav. So I think Azun will have to stay put behind him for the rest of the lap between the yellow car of Malav. As VFX is now once again the first one to go into the pits for it. Definitely it's not the time for softs, and I think with the championship sealed, I think he can go and afford to take these risks if he wants to. You can see how much he's sliding all around. It's still raining. I mean, it's definitely not a time for soft compound tires, so maybe he just decided to have a little bit of fun. He was in a no man's land before he pitted, so why not? I mean, as long as he doesn't spoil the race for drivers that are fast approaching behind him. It's just two cars actually still battling for P5, Malav and Azun. You can see how much Azun hits him and loses his front wing. Broke really late, did Azun, and loses his front wing as a result. So yeah, his attack on the Renault will now be neutralized, and you can see how much time or traction he has gained just out of that corner, and the gap is over 1 second, and I think that's goodbye from Renault to the McLaren. Meanwhile, the battle for P7, a new battle here. It was between Saurabh and Noah, so somehow Noah has left Saurabh behind and he's right on Shah's tail. So Shah, who's been consistently in P7, I mean, he has solved his rivals on the track. There were different rivals in front of him or behind him a few laps ago, and now it's different one again here with Noah, who didn't have to fight too much. A rather simple move for Noah to move himself up into P7. So for the other field, the gap has dropped down by 10 seconds within a couple of sectors between VFX and You Can Beat Me. This is the closest battle that we've been having for quite some time now, and the Renault is doing quite a commendable job. His teammate, meanwhile, I think he is back in his car. Yeah, he is in control, so he could have been in P2. He was in comfortable P2 before he disconnected, so could have had a solid result tonight as Steve Scal get a 10-second time penalty. There's a Renault. Is that Suraj losing the back end, or was that here a fag because of I think that was because of the shot? As Suraj is in the pits, so he must have had some wing damage. Possibly, as Azun is in the pits for softs, Shah is in for softs, and maybe it's time for dry tires. Arjun and Phantom have just pitted, so I think before Arun had his crash, I think this is what, where is he? P9. I think this is what he was trying, just stretch his wet compound tires until the dry conditions come into play. You can see how dry this track is. There is not a cloud in the sky, and Phantom is in the pits as expected. So we could see purple laps for the remainder of these 3 laps. Shah get a 3-second time penalty, whereas he's 8.4 seconds in front of Nishan. So, but this was his first penalty, so I don't think he is under any sort of risk. That's the word. I can't even think straight. It's been a long day, unfortunately. So it's also a sore throat, yawning, and mind not being at the right place. I'm sorry. But Arjun is in the pits. He will be going on for the soft compound, and Nishan will be doing the same, and so will be You Can Beat Me, Noah, and Azun, who You Can Beat Me stay on for one more lap. What has he done? So yeah, Renault needs to work, or the pit crew needs to work as hard as possible. Nova's crash into the pit wall. Yet another moment for the Haas driver here. Will he retire at this hour? Will he go with the fastest lap? You can beat me in P5. Where is the McLaren? He has taken the final corner. Let's stay on board with him. And keep an eye out on that yellow dot on the mini map. He is taking that, and you can see his name under the tunnel, and I think he has jumped him. Azun pitting a lap early has managed to get a jump on the Renault. There he is. So undercut has worked beautifully, and yeah, staying on those wet compound tires for a lap extra has really helped Azun take P5 away from Mala, and Nishan is for 22 seconds away, so I don't think he can close down that gap. But yeah, so top 4 looks sorted at the moment, unless Nishan comes out with tremendous pace and just smashes everyone around. Phantom is on his hot lap, on his first proper hot lap on these compound tires, and we could see him go purple. No, actually he wasn't. Compared to his best lap time that he had set at the start of the race, he was 6/10 down on that, but could see that improving in the final 2 sectors elsewhere. Yeah, the battle for P7 not close enough. When did the DRS get activated? I really don't think I saw the message. I must have missed that, but yeah, with the DRS assistance, and if the gaps are as close as what it is between these two drivers, I think DRS could help them swap their positions. But Shah has been doing a tremendous job here. No penalty so far from him, and that could easily prove or help him keep P7, even if he gets overtaken by Saurabh. And I think the pace that Shah has, and with 2 laps to go, it will be challenging for Saurabh to pull up a gap of 3 seconds over Shah. But Saurabh has 9 seconds, so that's P7 as good as sorted for Shah. But I'm sure with the way Shah is as a person, I think he would like to finish P7 on track. As Sid Venkatesh sets the fastest lap with a 1:39, immediately beaten by Phantom by 1:30 with a lap time of 1:37.9. So let's stay on board. We could see lap times dropping massively now. What will teams do? 1:48.6. So I think so far Phantom is the only one who is in the sub 1:38s. Anyone else that we could see? Arjun is one contender that we could see improve on that time, and VFix is the another one. Let's see, let's stay on board with him. Just one more corner to go for Arjun. He needs to nail that final curb on the entry, which he has managed to do. What time does he do? With a 1:37.27 tenths quicker. But what will VFix? Another good driver here, IFSR champion. What lap time will he do? 1:37.2. So that's 400th of a second slower than what Arjun did. So purple lap as at the moment stays with Arjun, but Phantom Evil has managed to go 1.2 seconds quicker than anyone else, or sorry, 1.2 seconds quicker than his personal best. So this is definitely going to be a purple lap time. Phantom has managed to get himself a 3-second time penalty for trying to push and get that purple lap time away from him. Azul goes fastest with a 1:37.0. So this is happy hours for everyone. We will see purple lap swap positions at this final stage, with one more lap to go after this, and the track evolution coming into play. Nova West 1:35.2, but can Phantom take that purple lap away from him? He will have one more bite of the cherry after this lap. What does he do? 1:37.4, so not quick enough. 1.8 seconds slower. See, it does improve, but not enough. Arjun is 1 second quicker. How much quicker is VFix at the end of sector 2? Half a second, so not quick enough to take that purple lap away from Nova West. So I think purple fastest lap will stay with Nova. So this was quite interesting. Keeping an eye out on all the fastest lap. Shah has lost out massively. Can I say no? He has lost positions, at least on track, but he is right on their tail. Saurabh in front, 2 cars in front, has 9 seconds. Nova has 6. So I don't think there will be enough gap pulled out in front of him to affect his P7 in any way. So this is the only battle. Suraj is right on Sid Venkatesh's tail. Sid is literally out of ERS, and so is Suraj. So drivers going head over fist with their ERS management. They don't care about it. It's final lap, and why shouldn't they? But we stay on board with the man who we didn't feature much throughout the entirety of the stream. Someone who started from the front row of the grid. All he had to do was to get a good launch off the line and take P1 away from the medium runner in Arjun Shah. I think that was Arjun Shah who started on pole. But just with 2 more corners to go, a driver who finished P2 in the championship standing but showed no lack of pace tonight, Phantom, taking the final corner in the black Mercedes, wins the final race. Anticlimax does a donut for the sake of it. He can. He's 40 seconds in front. Look at the gap. Reverses and takes the checkered flag in Abu Dhabi. Brilliant race from him. Quite dominating. But someone else who didn't have the best of starts lost out his car at the start of this race. Was almost at the back of the grid, but with sheer consistency throughout the race, lap after lap, making overtakes at the right places and taking risks occasionally, is Arjun Shah in AlphaTauri, taking the last corner on the track. He will take P2 in the final race. Slows really down. Almost expected a donut out of him as well. But another consistent driver, someone who has won this championship many races ago, is the VFX in Racing Point. Takes P3 and the final step on the podium. Nishan finishes in well-deserved P4. Unfortunately, he couldn't finish in P2 with a disconnect, but P4 is what he will get tonight. Azun, who really showed his impressive pace in the second half of this race, will cross the finish line in P5. So this is a really good race from Azun, and you can beat me, who did well holding as many rivals behind him for as long as possible. Sort of crosses the line in P7, Nova in P8, but Shah, someone with no penalties throughout this race, takes P7 in the end. And I missed the remaining of the position. I think after Saurabh it was Sid Venkatesh in P10, Suraj in P11, Arun who DNF'd unfortunately in P12, and the final 2 positions go to Rishabh and Tifkal of Alfa Romeo. So what a brilliant race this has been. There was rain, there was action, there were crashes, so a lot of stuff happened throughout the race, but I think it was overall quite a worthy race to commentate on. So let's just do the finishing grid order for one final time this season in IFSR, if the game decides to load. There you go. So Phantom finishing and winning the final race of season 1 of IFSR, followed up with Arjun and VFX. Both these drivers having not having the best of starts, but with their consistent pace, managing to finish on the podium. Speak properly, man. Arjun and VFX. After the podium were Nishan, Azun, You Can Beat Me, Shah, Nova, Saurabh, Suraj. Oh, Suraj did get him on the line to Sid. So Suraj rounding off the point finishers. Outside the points were Sid, Rishabh and Tifkal, and I think DNFs were Arun, who left the session after his crash, and Acid, who DNF'd in his final race of the season. So this has been quite an interesting race, and I think there was some competition as well in the race, in the league, between Nishan and Azun, who finished P4 and P5, and I think both of them drove quite brilliantly. Nishan showed really good pace right from the start. I mean, I think if disconnect wouldn't have happened, he would have surely been on the podium. He was in a world of his own in P2. I mean, Phantom was far ahead, but I think without his disconnect, he would have finished much higher. And Azun showing his pace. He was at the back of a long train, but managed to get through all of those and finish in right behind Nishan. But I think if I had to choose between these two drivers, I think I would have to go with Nishan, just because the consistent pace that he showed throughout the race. I mean, even after rejoining after disconnect, he stayed in P4, and that's where he finished. So And I think if I had to give, if I can, I think I have to choose Nishan as the driver of the day. So there you go, there you have it. Final race of IFSR season 1 done and is in the record books. So congratulations to VFX, who is season 1 champion, followed by Phantom and Nishan. So top 3 finishers in the final standings there. So this has been Caesar. It's been a pleasure bringing you the broadcast of this finale, and until next season, it's good night.